where we last left off. You guys had headed out to go see if you could identify where the conscripts had been lost and bring them back to the nearby fortified town in eastern Brescia. And after tracking down the source of the beacon, you identified two defeated Silver Order knights in a clearing. One of them you were not familiar with, but as the armor faded on the one closest to you, you remembered him as Captain Grev, the individual responsible for training some of the others in the town where you guys first encountered Harnan and the Worm Demons some time ago. The only one of this group who recognized him, though, would have been Lana, considering Reese and Mika were away on a different mission at that time. After running into him and him passing away, you used the beacon that he had on him to track down the location of the conscripts, eventually coming upon a old ruined fort up in the mountainsides that was likely destroyed during the demonic incursion, and ran into not one but two familiar faces in rapid succession. The first being the boy conscript Harnan himself, and the second being Taran, Mika's younger brother, who she had been searching for some time. And after brief introductions had been made, we took a break, and we'll be picking up from there. Does anybody have any questions before we get started?
Nope. Who was the last person that we talked to before we cut? Was it the Silver Order Knight person?
I think we ended right after Mika had a discussion with her sibling.
Yeah, I think
we hadn't talked to the Silver Order Knight yet.
Not even a discussion. I don't think it was basically like that. Yeah, hell, you're still alive. Talking. I think you guys were chatting with Harnan a little bit, but we hadn't gotten to anything of substance.
Word. It's been a couple weeks.
It has.
So, as you guys are all making your, are all having your discussions, the Silver Order member finishes their discussions with the other individual at the, raised portion of the fort. They head down to meet you as the gnomish individual they were talking with gives you guys a quick wave and heads down over here and into this building. Dangling around the hip of the Silver Order mage carrying a staff at their side, you can see the blinking beacon that is in resonance with the one that you are carrying. And they look over. I believe, was it Lana that had it last as they were approaching the fort?
Think so.
It was, yes.
So they will unclip their end of the distress beacon and hold it up in their hand for a moment and say, I take it that you ran into the Silver Order captain that was responsible for the conscripts here, then?
Hey, we did.
I'm away from the computer for just a moment, so I'm probably crackly. I'll be speaking up in a second.
Right.
Feel free to go on without me, though. I don't want to hold anyone.
Were they in any state to continue? I assume not, considering that I don't see them amongst you, but I want to be sure. My reports.
And she's far away from us, right? Just talking to Mika?
Mika and her voice is projecting in your directions as well. So anybody from the group is free to chime in.
That's right. Yes, they were severely wounded when we got there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get there in time to tend to their wounds and save them.
Unfortunate, but they understood the risks they were taking. Allow me to deactivate the distress beacon for the time being. And they'll walk over and tap the beacon up against the one in Lana's hands to cause the rapid blinking on both of them to cease for the time being. Based on your appearances, I assume that you are involved with the group that we were briefed about shortly before our departure then. Though these are unusual circumstances, I do welcome your aid here. My outfit wasn't particularly equipped to handle this many conscripts for such a journey.
Well, we are more than happy to help.
And they look over towards the western wall for a moment as the sun is dipping towards the horizon. It seems unlikely that we'd be able to make enough time today to make our current departure worth it. And we have a number of conscripts and my men who've been injured. That would be slowing us down even further at the moment.
If you can point me at your injured, I can try and give a hand and help treat them if they need it.
That would be greatly appreciated. Bildrin is doing what he can, but he only has so many supplies. The wounded outpace what he is able to put together. And she gestures towards the room over here where you saw the gnome enter in previously.
He's gonna be like, "All right, bro, snag her brother, and you're my hands," and off they go.
Yep.
Not even an introduction.
After directing Mika off to that room, the knight turns their attention back to you. Well, we appreciate your assistance, and I'm sure it's been quite a journey. If you need to take a moment to rest, get some rations, feel free to do so, but any assistance you could offer around camp before our departure in the morning would be appreciated. Just make sure that you get enough rest that you don't become a burden yourself.
When are we looking to step off?
It'd probably be best to wait until the sun is over the horizon again and providing us enough light that we'll have visibility while traveling through the forests. At best pace, it'll take probably about half a day to get to the village, but depending on complicating factors and the state of the conscripts, could take longer than that. I'd like to avoid us traveling during the night, but there's only so much preparation one can make. The longer we wait here, the more aware of us the creatures around here will become. And as skilled as you are, I don't want to test our chances by having to hold out against them all night long, several days.
Nothing to be gained by standing around.
Glad we agree then.
I'll help out around camp and take first watch, so others can get some rest.
Would be appreciated. I'll start looking over what supplies we have and making sure that everything is ready to go in the morning. If you have any questions for me before we depart, feel free to come seek me out. The knight
course.
gives you a quick bow and begins heading back to the makeshift camp they have set up here.
So just another escort mission, I guess. That's not too hard. Why are you laughing like that?
Sorry to call y'all out here for something like this. I'm sure you folks have a lot better things to do, but we do appreciate the assistance again.
Well, of course. Not like we could just leave you all out here on the lark, could we?
Harnan chuckles at that. Well, that's about the response I'd expect from you hero types. Well, if there's anything I can do to help you folks out, I wouldn't want to leave you holding the entire burden.
You got anywhere that's Lana just kind of briefly glances up at the sky. How's the what about what time of day is it? Where's the sun at?
It's late afternoon. The sun is currently dipping towards the horizon in the west.
All right. Let's go. You got anywhere inside that we'd be able to kind of just relax for a little bit?
Oh, sure. Tent's the most secure. The medical tent's the most secured at the moment, but it's a bit packed. But let's see. Considering all the help you guys are doing us, maybe they won't mind too much if you rest up with the supplies for a minute. Got a couple boxes and stuff stashed around there, and the roof's mostly intact.
That ought to do it. I just wouldn't mind picking your brain a little bit about seeing what your training was like. You know, it's been a while since the last time we saw ya.
Oh, sure thing. Come on, I'll show you the way.
All right, you coming along, Reese?
No, you two catch up.
I mean, you don't have to, get started right away. Come along, get some rest. Sit down for a little bit.
He's gonna squint at you a little bit. He's like, should I bring Nicandros too?
Yeah. Lana is weird.
Yeah, I know. That's why
she-
Reese is giving her a suspicious look.
she's trying to be cool, but
She's Lana.
she's Lana.
Nicandros, let's go rest.
He just kind of looks between you and Lana for a moment before giving a soft shrug and gesturing for you guys to lead the way.
Reese quietly is gonna be like, let's go rest so Lana can rest.
Well, you know how I get when I'm restless, so.
Alright. So, Harnan leads you in through this doorway here and then swing south around into this building that they've set up as a makeshift storage room to make sure that their supplies don't get ruined in any inclement weather. They don't have terribly much. Mostly it's just consolidated rations and stuff to make sure it could be handed out accordingly. And any excess gear that they were carrying with them, but as Harnan described, the roof is mostly intact, and it seems to be rather isolated from most others. There's nobody else really in here at the moment. It looks like aside from the sparse guards patrolling the walls, most of the people you saw were in this room here. in various states of injury. So, while you think of the fun conversations you want to have with Harnan, Mika.
Hey.
So, as you head into the room, you find the gnomish gentleman standing over one of the injured recruits, currently applying a damp bandage to one of their arm, rather than just being translucent or almost like stained cloth. It looks almost as if it's been dyed red or had some sort of alchemical agents applied to it before being applied to the heavy burns up the individual's arms. And you recognize it as some sort of alchemical salve or medical salve. They're a bit too complicated for your standard healer to apply, but you have seen them in the medical docs and texts that you've looked over, considering your training. So as you're heading in and he's applying that, the gnome looks up, gives you a quick nod, and says, "Is there anything I can help you with, lass?"
It looks like you know what you're about, but where do you need a hand? You're the bit of the healer for this group, so it looks like you could use an extra set or two.
If you got actual training, I could more than use the assistance. I've been trying to keep the worst of them from getting any worse, but... and he gestures along the back wall here. Those folks are mostly stable at the moment, but could use some patching to help get them moving a little bit quicker. And if you got any extra time after that, helping set any bones, or if you're got the stomach for it, doing a little bit of stitching and cleaning on some of the worst injuries. I'm doing what I can with my cells, but outside of that, I don't have too much hands-on experience.
That's I got plenty of that, so Mika Silverhand at your service.
Another one of the old clans. And he just gestures over. He just looks over to your brother real quick. Good to have another one of you reliable types around then.
And you
Bildrin Cinderfoot at your service.
Hildren?
Bildrin.
Bildrin.
But we'll have time for the proper introductions once these lot are settled in for the night.
Agreed. Alright, Ter.
Alright, if you need anybody held down or anything braced, let me know.
Right, you fill me in on how we got here, and let's see what I can do for these people.
How familiar are you with these lads here? And he gestures his head towards the conscripts.
Is he like indicating just like the faces in general, or just the idea of the conscripts?
Just the idea of the conscripts and the situation going on here.
Got a pretty solid understanding of what's going on, but kind of curious, what have you guys been running into while you were out training? Like how you got to this point specific?
Oh, I wasn't with these lot until they showed up here. Yeah. Me, Bildrin, and some of the others from our auxiliary. We were out here with the captain, scouting the place to see if it was worth the effort to go send a squad out and start patching it back up in case the fighting got bad. Then it looked like these lot came running trying to find shelter after whoever was leading them out here stopped to hold off the worst of everything that's been going on.
We ran into the tail end of that fight. We weren't quite fast enough, but they made a good accountant of themselves.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but things have been getting worse the past few days out here.
Yeah, it's been getting worse in a lot of places.
We were thinking about getting ready to pack it up ourselves when these lots stumbled into our doorstep. A couple of the other auxiliaries helped hold the line for the last few days trying to get everything back in order, but it's been getting worse quicker than it's getting better, so
Are you
regardless of how things stand, we're probably going to have to head out soon.
your auxiliary team part of the Silvers proper? Because if not, I got my team could definitely use the help once we get these recruits back into proper safety.
The captain signed up with them, and we've been following her since Cindergate.
The captain, is that the Captain Grev, or that would been the knight or the mage Silver Knight?
The lady you talked to out there.
Ah,
They
gotcha.
decked her up in some nice armor after she signed up. She's always been the reliable sort.
I see.
A couple of the others have signed up over time, but they've been transitioned around here and there.
Understood.
It's mostly just me and Bildren left from the original crew with the captain.
Gotcha. I don't suppose you've run into any of the clans or anybody from home out here, have you?
Nah, I ran into Berta a few months back, but it sounded
yeah?
like her crew were heading up into the homeland for a bit, and haven't had a chance to get back in touch with her since.
That about lines up with what I had heard. I hadn't gotten to talk to her yet, but I've been trying to track you lot down.
Yeah, things have been a bit scattered. Heard home wasn't exactly an option for the time being, what with the defenses getting all wonky. But I figured I'd stick it out here for a bit until news got a little bit better and things quieted down so I could go track down the rest of the family.
Oh boy, have I got some tales to tell you once we're out of this, bro. Alright. For the meantime, yeah, home is definitely not an option right yet. But Matt, do you want me to make a medicine roll while we're doing this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And I'll have Taran make a assistance check.
Okay. Go ahead and do it at master since I think that's what I've been doing. With a terrible fucking roll. I really want to hero point that. It's really early to hero point that.
Do you still have your
Oh.
angel?
I do.
Yes, your crying angel pendant.
I do still have that actually, yeah. I think I also got some other feat that lets me do something weird. But yeah, I do still have that angel pendant, so I might... 1 second. Alright, I lost it. Yeah, I'll use the pendant, crack the pendant on it.
Alright. So, your hands are a little bit jittery from all of the adrenaline of running into another family member. And you nearly slip up as you're setting one of the bones. But the trinket shatters to give a sense of calm wash over you. And with Taryn assisting you, you just barely turn that into a normal success.
Don't want to kill any of the recruits.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. So, you're not burning through it, but you do manage to get most of those that had like twisted ankles or dislocated joints set before the sun begins to set and you start feeling a little exhausted. Most of the critically injured people are stable at the moment thanks to Bildren's medicine, but getting them on their feet is going to be a bit rough, how things currently stand.
Right.
So, we'll take a pause from you real quick and shuffle down to group 2. Alright. Alright, here's the place. You must have been through one hell of a journey for you guys to be all tuckered out, considering the work that I've seen you folks put in the past. How's the Wolf and Tomas doing?
About as
Wolf's
well as
great.
can be, all things considered. What is Tomas not?
Heck if
thought
I
he's-
know.
Thought he was okay, but Tomas is still Tomas.
Oh, that's good. Sometimes I worry about those fellas. They're pretty strong, but sometimes it don't seem like they got their head screwed on straight, you know?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Reese here's the one that's got to deal with them when their heads go all wrong. So you're talking to the right person.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad to see that you got plenty of dependable friends there, Lana. Considering the kind of work you guys go through, I imagine you can't have enough hands.
Reese makes
That-
like a hand waffle motion.
That's definitely true. How long have you been training with these Silver Order folk? I know you were conscripted back when we met you, but it's kind of a different set of people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's been a few months now, not terribly long after you folks left. The Silver Order came through and started helping out Captain Grev with all of our training, making sure that everybody got the proper gear. Made sure that they brought in some new specialists to help us figure out all the more complicated bits.
Hmm.
Most of us were just learning how to swing swords and shoot bows and like, but we never really had the time or know-how to start looking into how to actually fight these types of things. No one actually really expected them to start coming back. Well, I do remember Tomas muddling about it every so often, but like aside from him,
Tomas, you know, sometimes the people who do all the crazy muttering are just kind of crazy, but sometimes they're right.
yeah, it's just like my pa used to say about that guy that used to shout things out in the square. Broken clock is right about twice a day.
So, when was the last time you saw Captain Grev? Just kind of
That
curious.
was right before we had to hightail it up here. He was one of the two that were taking us out for field training.
Mm.
I didn't really know the other fella too much, but he seemed strong enough. And considering that thing you walked in here with, I imagine you ran into Grev too.
Yeah, it's kind of why I was asking. When he was with y'all, did he still seem himself?
Well, I mean, the fella always was a bit of a hard ass. I mean, I understand why, but
That's you ain't wrong about that.
the past few months he did seem a bit more calm, I guess. I always thought it was
Mhm.
because we were starting to get ourselves together a little bit more, but hard to tell with all these Silver Order types. They're mighty strong, but not exactly the most varied bunch.
No, they ain't. There's kind of a reason for that, but I don't. Probably a topic best left for another time, I reckon.
Yeah, they're a bit
Yeah.
weird, but they've done a lot of good for us.
That's good knowing.
We should be honest with him, Lana.
Well, I, I just, I don't want to talk bad about nobody, especially since,
It's not talking bad, it's just telling the truth.
well, I'll just start by saying that Captain Grev didn't make it, and he some of his last actions was making sure that this beacon got turned on so that we'd make it to you. If that's anything to console with.
Arnon opens his mouth to say something, but just nods. He tries to process that. Yeah, I figured that was the case when we didn't see him coming through with you.
Yeah. Either way, I felt it kind of just important to tell you, because I don't know, he was looking at me when he passed, so there might have still been a part of him that didn't get washed away. Would have been the
Kind of
first I heard of it, but
cocks his eyebrow at that.
Silver Order Knights don't really maintain much of themselves after they become Silver Order Knights.
part of what makes them so good is their parts of them gets locked away to make them better at dealing with all the demons.
Magical brainwashing, no big deal.
He kind of like squints at that, trying to process it, and be like, "But how do you can't really just go and turn people off, though, can you? That doesn't seem
Gods
like it should
can.
work like that."
Well, one thing at a time. There's some real powerful magic out there that can do stuff like that.
When you say the gods can, he just kind of gets a squint of pain on his face.
He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm, okay. So can't say that. Magic. Just makes this weird gesture, wiggling his fingers.
I don't think I like magic all that much.
Same. We recently had that pain for a bit. It's terrible. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem all that fun. Gosh, you guys put up with this a lot?
Oh, a lot.
All the
I mean,
time.
you know the kind of work we were getting up to.
Yeah, making me more glad by the minute that I ain't one of them heroes. Oh, jeez.
Well,
I mean, it's probably a little bit better than what you're going to be doing.
well,
Jesus Christ.
Reese is just.
Sorry.
Reese has turned into such an interesting creature.
the fuck, man.
Anyways, yeah. Sorry for your loss. I think maybe I should reconsider and definitely go and check on all the supplies and make sure everything's in order, Lana, while you catch up with Harden.
Oh, All right. Well,
And he like gently pats you on the shoulder and leans in. He says, "I'm probably doing more harm than good," and heads back out the way he came.
don't push yourself too hard, Reese.
Just kind of waves over his shoulder.
All right. So, funny thing about all that hero talk you was mentioning earlier.
He just kind of looks over at you, just rubbing his head for a second before moving back to a sitting position.
Well, we could definitely use all the help we could get if you'd rather be there instead of here with all the silver folk.
Harnan blinks at that for a second. Oh, gosh. I appreciate that. I think I can help Lana, really, but
I mean,
even if the order is a bit strange, like you say, I can't exactly give up on it at the moment, unfortunately. They've been doing real good by me and my sister, and I can't really just...
oh, I didn't know you had a sister.
Yeah, we didn't get really too much of a chance to talk back when you guys first came by, but
We had a job to do. That makes sense.
yeah, I don't blame you none. But ever since we lost Paul in the war, I've been keeping an eye on her, making sure the both of us had a roof over our head, and
Who's Paul?
Pa.
Paw. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Lana would have got that. Kevin did
Yep.
not. Oh,
They've
that's
been
an
having
awful lot.
her help out at the camps. One of the people that works on all the rations and all that such. I don't have her out fighting, luckily, but
Someone's got to, right?
yeah. She seems to be happy with it, and she's safe. Well, I appreciate it, I really do, Lana, but I can't leave her there by herself.
No, Lana will just kind of like, just have this moment where she's just kind of go, yeah, no, I wouldn't ask you to do something like that. I know what it's like to be fighting for the folk close to you.
Yeah, I knew you'd understand. But just because I'm over here doesn't mean I can't help out my own way.
Mm-hmm.
The Silver Order folk might be a little bit strange, but they're still out here protecting people, making sure that none of these demons get too bad, so hopefully I can make your folks' job a little bit easier, yeah?
I reckon you'd be able to do that, just about anywhere. Well, much as I want to sit here and play 20 questions, I reckon we should probably see what we can do to get camp ready to move tomorrow morning, huh?
Yeah, there's still quite a few supplies to pack up, and we're a bit stretched thin on the wall at the moment. So any help you could offer would be appreciated.
You trying to build it back up, or just keep an eye on it?
I think right now the plan is, based on what the captain last told us, we're probably going to hold out here for another day or two, and then head out either in the morning or the morning after. Get as many back as we can to the nearest town. Excuse me. It's going to be a rough trip, but More and more people are getting injured every single night here. Probably can't hold out too much longer.
Yeah, reckon we should probably get a leg on it then. All right, I'll go see what the wall needs doing after I go check in and make sure Reese ain't getting into any trouble.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
All
I'll
right,
go
holler.
make sure everybody else is settled in, and I'll see you on the wall.
All right, holler if you need anything.
He gives you a nod, and then throws himself up off the box, gives you a salute, and starts heading out.
All right. Lana will just kind of hang out there for a minute and just kind of sag, and then she's just gonna go kind of in the same general direction where Reese excused himself.
Seeing you a little bit shaken for a moment, Nicandros is just going to clap you on the shoulder and say, "You know it's the right choice, Lana."
I can't do it. I'd be doing the exact same thing in his shoes, and I don't think I'd budge. Anything I tried to do wouldn't be right.
It's unfortunate, but sometimes that's the best decision we make.
I just hope it stays that way.
Me too. And he'll let you go off after Reese, and then start looking around camp to see how he can help.
Yeah.
Alright. So, Mika, as you're getting towards the end of your shift, you eventually see Nicandro stuck in under the door frame.
Hey.
Greetings. I don't have much in the way of medical expertise, but Argith's hands do offer some measure of solace and healing to those who need it. Are there any who most need assistance at the moment that I can help with? I appreciate it, fella. Why don't you go see if you can help out those folks over there? If you still got anything left in you after that, just let me know. And he nods at the gnome and passes you by, Mika. So, Nicandros spends a little bit of time using lay on hands to heal up some of the injured, but there's still a decent amount left.
Yeah, Mika's gonna keep working and keep kind of catching up with Terran and where he's been the past several years since they got separated.
Yep. Yeah, we were deployed out to Brescia for a bit. Mostly hung around southern and eastern, up until things started to slow down towards the end. They kept us out there for a little bit to make sure the cleanup was all done. By the time we were ready to head back, word was already spreading that Cindergate was locked up tight. That even all those fancy clockwork folk couldn't get the defenses to stand down, so figured it wasn't going to be much of a use hacking our way in unless we were trying to pull all the auxiliaries together, which didn't sound like there was much of an effort for at the moment.
Nah, I think yours and Berta's units and Tika and Zumbrak also popped off on their own units later on. The rest of us kind of hung about as we were cleaning up, but yeah, Cindergate, for the most part, is locked up pretty damn tight.
Well, we got enough out here to keep us busy for the time being. Home will be that much sweeter to get back to once We finally get some real calm out here.
Mika kind of winces at that one.
Hi. Brassy has been keeping us busy. They know damn well they can't recruit us, but they keep offering us good work, so
Well,
better than having idle hands at the moment, at least.
that's the one thing we don't do, that's for sure. But,
Aye.
like I said, invitation stands. We got plenty of work with my group, and we'll be heading back home eventually too once this is all done with. So, anytime you and yours, you Bildren, want to stop working for the Silvers, you can come work for this one. I'm not gonna drag you into it because it ain't gonna work, but
He smiles a bit at that, and just roll me a passive Just roll me a diplomacy check for funsies.
oh lord.
Well, can't say I haven't been a little homesick for a while, but gotta run it by the captain before I'm free to wander off on my own.
Nope. That is the way that goes. But either way you end up going with it once we get out of this hole and get everyone back safe. You gotta have a bit of catching up before we split back up again.
Yeah, having a chat over a keg beats the atmosphere we're currently in just a little bit, if nothing else. No
Oh,
offense to these fine folk.
I got some fine stuff from, I think probably from the homelands actually, just waiting for it. Say the word.
Well, then I'll look forward to that light at the end of the tunnel then.
Alright. I think we've done as much as we can for this group, but well, I'll see if I can find my crew and make sure we're good to go at light.
Yeah. No point working ourselves ragged when we got half a day's march ahead of us. We've done what we can here.
Right. Yeah, call it. Call
What were you
it.
saying?
I was saying I could have called over like Necrandros. Everybody else ready down?
Yeah, Mika was heading off. Sorry. Mika was heading off after Reese. Sorry. I can remember characters' names. Lana was heading off after Reese. If you find one of them, you should find them both. It sounded like they were planning to take watches, or at least Lana was.
Alright. Set up our usual rotation.
Probably for the best. The people here, even though still on their feet, look like they've been through a bit. Probably use the rest.
Alright, Tara. Go do what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna go catch my team. But we will be talking before we're all done with this.
You couldn't run off without that if you tried, lass.
Run off. Little brother, I got about 3 decades on you. She's gonna wave off out the door.
Alright. So, Lana, I believe you were chasing down one Reese.
Yeah, she was just going in his, I wouldn't say chasing down, but, going in his direction, just looking to rendezvous.
Yep. So you guys are free to meet back up wherever?
Alright, where's Reese at?
Reese would probably be up on one of the walls.
Yep.
Like, maybe this one over here. Just hanging out,
Yeah.
watching the sun go down.
Hey, Reese.
Hey.
And she'll just kind of like let out a little sigh and just kind of turn around and have a seat against the wall and just kind of prop herself back.
That's no good. You look downright droopy. What happened?
Well, sun is still setting?
Yeah.
Okay. So she'll just kind of shrug and she'll just go like, I don't, I ain't quite as stubborn as Tomas when it comes to folk.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, even if we manage to take all these folks under our own,
Wait, what?
no, look, what kind of life is living on the run, you know? No, they wouldn't be able to do anything.
We can't
That will-
save everyone.
I know. Everyone's got their own fight.
Besides, I don't know, maybe being a Silver Order Knight will make him harder to kill. Make him more likely to survive, as much as I hate the Silver Order. Where is she? Looks around. It's like,
They seem to be going over documents northeast of you, but
he just
out
like
of
lowers his
sight.
voice. He just lowers his voice, even though I fucking hate them.
Let's just make sure all these folk are able to get home safe.
Yeah.
We shall probably come tracking you guys down at some point whenever you guys feel they should pop up the conversation.
Now seems a good time.
Whenever, yeah.
Just kind of wanders around the walls, sees you guys sticking up off of it, and pops over there. Just plops down next to you. It's like, I can't do it.
You can't do what?
I want
You
to drag.
both are really concerning me right now.
I want to drag him by his beard back to the tower, and I can't
Who?
do it. That's my littlest brother. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's Taran. He's my youngest brother that came out to the field, or next to youngest actually, that
Oh,
came out
yours
to the
doesn't want to
fields.
leave either, huh?
I think
Feel that.
he, I think he would, but that mage was, that mage is his team's captain, what's left of his team, and well, we don't exactly back down from work, so he's not gonna. I mean, he's not just gonna leave his team because I say so.
I I understand what you're getting at. I feel the same.
I'd also rather not, break the treaty that we worked so hard to get. Not really, but
I know. Sorry,
I mean, if you can convince him to try and convince them.
I think, I don't know, I haven't told him a lot yet, but I don't know. Told him we're gonna talk once we get back to safety. We'll see what happens then, but uh, sorry I kind of vanished on you guys, but
Hey, family's number one.
Yeah.
he's one of our team that his group went off like in like partway through the war. This is one of the few I've been trying to track down for a few years, so kind of lost my head a bit.
I don't blame you one bit, Mika. I hadn't seen you that passionate in a long time. It's good to see you still got that part of you in you.
I'm just glad he's alive. Is all. And a few months ago, he saw one of my sisters, so one of the last few. So that's 2 out of 4. Might be some hope yet.
Might be.
So what the hell are we doing in the morning? How are we
Getting.
gonna get this limping lot out?
Well, I got 4 shots of divine magic I can use to get 4 of them up, but outside of that, I ain't gonna be able to do much more than keep watch and maybe fix one of the walls a little bit. But I mean, if we're planning on leaving, that ain't worth nothing.
Reese is going to draw his fingers across his scarf and turn it into his violin and just start playing while staring at Mika and Lana.
You,
That's about all I've got, Lana.
Well, if Tomas was here, he'd be able to keep watch all night without sleeping, and Reeves would be able to set traps. But,
Yes, if only Tomas was here.
maybe it's better he's not. You're right.
Well,
I'm just saying, we gotta find ways to help on our own, I guess.
last I left Tomas, he still had a bit of a stick up his ass, so we'll see how things are stand when we get back. Besides,
Yeah, probably best he ain't around.
no, he'd be so pissy at the sight of Silvers that he'd be, I don't know.
He'd be a lot.
He'd be a lot.
He'd be a lot harder to convince than me to keep old Harnan around here. You know how Tomas is.
Yeah.
Reese staring into the sun, trying to blind himself.
Well, Nicandros is patching up who he can in the place that Bildren and I and Taryn couldn't get to, but no one's dying tonight down there, but moving fast is not going to be an option.
Well, I'll go drop off my 4 drops of Divinity on whoever needs it more, but after that I guess I'll be back here and we can start keeping watch.
I can put some magic into a few people.
Right now, I think anything we got would be pretty handy just because, I don't know, I don't feel like having a bunch of walking snacks.
Alright, be back in a few, Lana says, kind of popping back up to her feet. And she moves over here and just kind of jumps down off the wall.
Lana.
What?
Why are you like this?
How do you even... Hello?
How do you not break an ankle every time you do that?
Why is this a problem? Like, I just dropped.
It's not a problem. It's just weird.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go help people. See you in a minute.
Scoot.
I actually technically have a lot of magic so long as I don't need to defend myself. But
Reese?
What?
Apart from the obvious, are you okay?
I'm fine.
I know Tomas is being a shit, but...
Yeah, he fucking is.
Okay.
Sorry.
Figured I'd ask.
I'm okay other than that. I've just done some reevaluation, I guess.
Cocks an eyebrow.
I've just decided to stop feeling so sorry for myself all the time.
I seem to remember getting some advice like that from someone recently. It's pretty good advice.
Recently? Haha.
I did not do that on purpose, but...
I know you didn't. I don't know. Different things are important.
That's true.
But I can probably spend a decent chunk of magic and get some people back on their feet.
Just don't overdo it, because if we're all toast in the morning, then...
Well, so long as I sleep, I can get it all back.
Right.
Oh. Magic's fun like that.
Do what you think you can spare. I'll hold up watch up here for the moment. I'm not going to be sleeping for a bit anyway. Bildren's the little guy, Silverfoot, so he'll be able to point you at whoever hasn't been poked at by Nicandros and Lana yet.
Okay.
You know where to find me.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anytime, lad.
Reese is gonna go help heal people because I forgot he could do that.
Speaking of which,
Yes. For clarification, Cinderfoot, not Silverfoot.
Oh, Cinderfoot. Okay. Sorry, I thought you said Silverfoot. That makes more sense.
For reference, Mika, you would know this, and maybe something you remember in retrospect now that you're not focused on something. The Cinderfoot clan is one of the founders of Cindergate. Namely, they're the family that Amove came from.
Gotcha.
oh, cute.
Yeah. The alchemists, the ones that specialize in alchemy.
That makes some sense. Alrighty.
Alright, so we'll start with Lana, and then when we're done with Lana, we can cycle to Reese.
Cool.
So-
Lana will. Go ahead.
Yep, you come in as he's feeding somebody the last bits of a tincture, and the gnome looks up at you with tired eyes and goes, "Ah, another one of the new arrivals. Are you here to help, or do you need help?"
Oh, I'm here to give it a hand. I've got a little bit of divine magic I can use to make the worst of people's problems go away, and I mean, I don't know how useful it'll be, but I've got some some herbs and stuff to help bleed off the edge. But I mean, if you've already got people looking at people, probably have the people with medicine do it first.
Every little bit you can offer helps. I got quite a
Okay.
few bodies. We might be able to get most of them back on the road, but it'll be slow going unless we can get through some of these more serious wounds.
Well, I ain't no Mika, but I can help out a couple people before I go settle in.
How well does that magic of yours close up deep wounds?
Uh, I've got 4 shots of it. 2 are pretty good. The other 2 are kind of eh.
Well, let's see what I can do then. Why don't you start with those 2 folks over there and see if you have anything left after them.
All
He
right.
gestures you towards somebody that has an abdominal wound and somebody that has a puncture in the chest.
All right. Lana's gonna start with abdominal wound man, and she's just gonna kind of put a hand on his shoulder and pump 4d10 of healing into him with Font of Vitality.
Yep. Give me a religion check.
Oh,
Yeah, we're doing checks for these, baby.
35.
All right. So, trying not to waste the magic, you're somewhat experienced with it at this point and know that generally divine magic will heal wounds all over. But you try to focus that effort on the worst of it, so none of it's wasted on like their various small scrapes and cuts.
Yeah.
And it looks like that heals the deepest part of it, so there's no longer like you can no longer touch their guts. That's the important part.
All of his insides are back inside.
Yep. There's still a
Yeah.
pretty deep cut through the flesh, but it at least won't be horrific to walk.
All right. Think you'll be able to move. No dice rolls for that. Just happen.
No, the religion check's gonna be all your healing.
Okay, sick.
And then you're turning your attention to lung puncture.
Yes, lung puncture, and
Yep.
that'll be her second most potent shot. So
It
it'll
would
be
be
slightly
2 to
weaker.
get through that. So you're
2.
second and third most to get through that.
Okay, fair enough. But that's probably what she'd end up doing then.
Yep. Alright. So it takes a little bit and you have to go back for a second touch on this person, but eventually their breathing becomes less shallow as the wound is patched up, and you see the flesh knit itself together completely. And you see them take a deep sigh, a deep breath, and go, "Oh, thank you, Liz."
Anything I could do to help out?
And then you have one left that you could use to knit the last of the wounds on the abdominal guy, or you could put elsewhere.
She might as well go back to abdominal guy and just kind of close the cut a little bit more and
Yeah, just knit the
Just-
flesh so it's a bit
yeah.
easier to work with. Because he could walk now, but just making the journey easier.
Yeah, she just like checks her hand and like just sees that the divinity's getting really frail and she's like, all right, well, this one's not doing much anyway.
That man was very unconscious, so he doesn't have a chance to thank you.
She just kind of like pats his shoulder after she's done laying hand, and then she just kind of steps back.
And as you're finishing up your work, Nicandra seems like he's tapped out as well and says, "You've gotten quite good at that in the time that I've been gone."
Oh, it ain't quite the same as yours. I can only do this a couple times a day, but well, I guess you could say I've been given a lot of evidence that my devotion's put in the right place.
Yes, and Our Lady is nothing if not faithful to those who put their faith in her.
Even if there's probably better places to put it, that's true.
There's no need to be so hard on yourself. Even as skilled as you are, I imagine. Sorry. Even as skilled as you are, I imagine that takes a bit out of you. Before you go pushing yourself too ragged, why don't we grab something to eat before deciding what we're going to do for the rest of the night?
That is a good idea.
Your friend stopped by earlier and pointed out the mess hall for when we were done here. I'll show you the way.
Mm.
So, Nicandros leads you over towards the eastern side where they have a basic mess hall set up with a stew pot going, and where they're moving around some rations. You are free to take from the pot or do anything else you want for dinner, but they do recommend you get something to eat.
Yeah, Lana will just kind of take a small bowl from the pot and just kind of take a seat and just sustain herself.
Alright. And Reese, you're heading down to the medic tent as well, right?
Yes.
Alright. So, as you're heading in, it looks like the gnome is trying to patch people up and hand out meals to some of the people in the room as you enter and says, "Well, aren't we popular today?
What can I
Nice
say?
to meet you, fella. Are you here to help or do you need help?"
I have some magical healing I can pass around. I have some big ones, medium ones, small ones. Thanks to Matt's benevolence.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I don't know who sent you folks, but be sure to pass along my thanks to them. Let's see. Those folks over there could probably use the most of it, and then anything else you got left, sprinkle between the folk over here by the door. You guys have already done more than I would have expected, so just trying to get people as stable as we can for the night would be appreciated. I should be able to get them all on their feet in the morning.
Okay. Are there two that are particularly bad?
What kind of spells you got?
I have Soothe, but I can cast it up to 6th level, which is 6d10 plus 24.
That'll do it.
I have 2 of those.
Dang.
If you're
Yeah.
one of those, well, since you got magic, the guy in the back, right over here, tore
probably
some
been there.
muscles pretty bad. Nothing I can get to with my tinctures easily. Nothing that physical treatment would do too much for, so if you can get him, that'd probably be the best. And outside of that... This fella over here by the door. He got rattled around pretty hard. He's been dizzy and nauseous since. I think he's got some bruising inside the head. Let's try to focus the magics there a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Alright. Give me an occultism check.
An occultism check, man. That's like, you don't get away with just casting a spell.
Nope. Hey. So, it takes a little more focus than you're used to, but you try to concentrate the effects of the magic primarily on the worst injuries. And it burns through all your spell slots, but eventually you see Conscript grits his teeth as you see the disformity from the torn muscles reshape back into a normal structure, and he grips and nearly kneels over before the pain subsides and goes, "Oh, thanks." And then, after excusing yourself from that, you head over to the guy by the door and get through the last of your magic. And they seem to be curled up, mostly in pain, like wobbling back and forth, unable to sleep from the pain and the confusion. But after a moment, you see the rocking subside, and they kind of just lean up against the wall for a moment and just relax a little bit, but you still see them breathing normally, so it looks like the pain subsided enough for them to pass out finally.
Mechanically, in case we get attacked, how many spell slots did I just use? Because
Let's say 4.
Okay, any particular
4 to
level?
6. Let's say 1 of each level that you can cast through that.
Okay. So you said 4 spell slots?
And let's just do 1 of each level, because some of those were more difficult complications.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were talking, I was like, did I just lose all my spell slots?
No. Not gonna make you shotgun 40 fucking slots into people.
Yeah, today's the day I just realized I can do that much healing with Soothe in a pinch. Because Matt is letting me heighten spells the same way you do in 5e.
Yeah, I don't like Pathfinder heightening. Alright. So. Oh, you're so sad. You're so miserable.
Baby.
Okay. But yeah. Once you're all set, Bildren looks over the room and says, "I think that's about as good as we're gonna get it. You folks were a godsend."
Glad to help. Hopefully we're as good tomorrow as well.
One can hope, but I can't stick around here too much longer, so we'll be glad to have you. Why don't you go grab something to eat? It's been a long day. I'll wrap up here.
Don't forget to rest.
Oh, you don't need to tell me twice.
And Reese will head out, I guess, to the mess hall?
Yep.
Get something to
He
eat.
directs you across the courtyard, and inside you see a couple people eating their meals, taking in the warmth, and you see Nicandros and Lana partway through their meals as you enter.
A lot of waves.
The Candros gives you a nod as you enter as well after he turns to see you.
Reese gives a small little hand wave.
Alright. So, if you guys, unless you guys have any discussions you want to do over supper, is there anything you guys would like to do before turning in for the evening?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good too. All my stuff's gonna wait till theoretically we get out of this.
Alright. Who is standing watch and when?
Reese did offer to take first watch.
Yeah, Nico will probably take her usual second watch.
Lana will close out then.
Alright. Alright. Each of you give me a perception check.
I'm excited to fail you.
Pretty much.
28. I forgot 28 was not actually that good in Pathfinder. MB.
Depends on the level of the check.
Sure.
So, Reese, you take first watch and keep an eye out as the sun begins to set over the horizon. Do you have dark vision at all, or just low light?
I think just low light. Let me double check. Just low light.
Okay. So, you keep an eye on things for a few hours while the sun begins to set over the horizon, but once it starts getting darker out, without too big of a moon in the sky, it becomes harder to see your surroundings, even with some of the torchlight from the other guards moving around, and yours if you want to light it as well, or if you want to cast light on anything.
I don't have light.
Just shooting prestidigitation fireworks off every 6 seconds.
Sure.
Lana like just comes up and just like lights up a rock and just leaves.
Thanks.
But gear shift goes by without
I
any
think she
issue.
still has light prepared. Let me actually check Lana's
Sweet.
prepared list. That was a joke. Nope, she doesn't actually. Message in Presto.
Mika,
Uh-oh.
about halfway through your shift, under the darkness of night, you see something shift in the distance and snap your attention to it. And then it seems to pause for a moment, and as clouds slowly drift through the sky and cover over the moonlight, you see a couple things shoot into the air under the cover of darkness and begin rapidly gliding towards the fortress. What would you like to do?
It's gonna just yell. It's like, eyes up!
Alright. So, with your early warning of events going on, you see a couple of the other conscripts snap to attention. Harnan, at the end of his shift, sprints over to the wall over here and shouts, "Flare going out!" And you see him strike an arrow from a secondary case against the ground for a moment that lights up before he shoots it up into the sky, and you see a glowing red light illuminate the air, showing 3 aerial demons for a moment. And behind you, you hear the captain cry out to knock their arrows. And then as the light passes into the center of the group, so they're all properly illuminated, orders to loose on command. Orders them to loose as ready. And a couple of volleys of cold iron arrows go up. And the creatures drop before they ever have a chance to make it to the fort.
Toasted.
Toasted.
You lot have some good reflexes.
Yeah, it's just a matter of seeing the damn things before they get to us. A lot more cunning than you would expect.
Wouldn't have gone this long if there weren't something to them.
Yeah, but I appreciate the eyes.
Yeah, I'll keep it for a while here. Still got a bit. How many more of those lights you got?
Each of us got a few, but I got one left. I imagine we're starting to run low. Just check with the person that's going to replace me in a few and make sure they still have theirs.
Alright, we'll definitely do.
So, if anything else was planning on an attack, after that display, it seems they're holding off for the time being, and the rest of your shift finishes without any issue, Mika. Lana, after getting a good night's rest, you keep an eye on things after having been woken up in the middle of the night by the call out last night, but quickly being told it's okay to go back to sleep after they quickly dealt with the issue. But in the morning, you assume your position on the wall and keep an eye out. And it seems like, other than the occasional single demon that's caught out by one of the other archers on the other sides, that you don't really run into any issues.
Fair enough.
Alright. And eventually you hear the sounds of birds chirping in the distance, and slowly light begins to creep back into the surrounding plains and mountainside. And you all begin gathering your supplies to head out. Let's take a quick 5-minute break. So you guys can stretch your legs and run to the bathroom or restock on anything, and then we will be heading out. For awareness, the next part is going to be Mind Palace.
Oh boy.
I love Mind Palace.
Yes.
Matt, you fucking bodied me. I just want you to know that.
Bodied you?
Yeah.
Oh, with Harnan?
Yeah. Just like I can't like there is no part of Lana that would accept anything less than just being like, yeah, okay, understandable, have a nice day.
You're
Yeah,
coming
the
with
three
us.
Out of the three that would want him, Harnon's actual reason for sticking around, even knowing things, hard counters Lana.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't make it easy for you guys to steal every NPC. You know? I have to make it hurt.
And
But
the other two have no idea who Harnan is. And Reese was like, "This is a country boy." Okay.
Yeah.
That's the most he's got.
Lana was very much like, I'm suddenly glad Tomas isn't here. Because this would be a lot more difficult if he was.
Reese would
Seems
stab
like
him.
everyone's glad Tomas isn't there. I'm like, holy shit! Forget
Tomas and Reese are fighting.
Lana just knows that Tomas is very passionate about people.
Like I said, forget the doghouse. Boy is sleeping so deep in the
in a
woods.
doghouse he built himself, probably.
It's a badly constructed doghouse. We know how he builds.
It's complicated.
Oh my gosh. Poor
Complicated
Tomas.
boys have complicated emotions, but Tomas doesn't like to talk about them. And so it's been festering since the reveal, and Reese is tilted about it.
Sam still hasn't actually finished that RP, so Mika went out in the woods after him, and who knows?
Nudge her.
Sam
She
had
needs
brain
reminders.
goblins for a bit.
Yeah, she told me she needs reminders, so nudge her.
Gotcha.
I think I'm gonna have some of this honey lavender tea. Yum.
Honey lavender.
Mm-hmm. For when, your coworkers decide to be jackasses all day.
Mm.
It has been a week.
It has definitely been a fucking week. Beep, beep, beep. I'm so sorry. Like, everybody's looking at Reese like, Reese, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Dad stare.
No, I'm just a bitch now.
That too.
I'm just a dick now.
It's like, no, I'm fine. Also, my boyfriend's a dick. That was apropos of nothing. So,
Yeah, his
Felt the need to get
existence
it out
is
in the
apropos
universe.
of nothing.
It's still true.
Yeah, not wrong, but still hilarious.
I loved how everybody started dying when Reese was like, it's a little bit better than what you're about to go through.
God, it's like, whoa!
Like, I know your job is shit. It's fine.
Are you gonna rip that knife out as you twist it?
Yeah.
He's gonna turn on the chainsaw attachment.
Oh wow.
That was Reese being like, get the fuck out of there, dude.
Mika's just like, I can't, like, like she so badly wants to, like, just haul her damn brother in the
Just
tower,
kidnap
just
the
ditch
dwarf.
everything. It's like, fuck it. You'll kill me if I do that.
Reese went into depression as a soft boy. Reese came out of depression as a hard ass.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
the
have
se-
problems? We all do. Fucking get over it.
Yeah. That seems to be about the Reese right now.
He's adjusting.
Yeah.
He did the pendulum swing of like starting at one extreme, swinging to the other, and it's fine. He'll find the balance.
Poor boy.
They'll slowly start swinging less and less. Alright. You still getting to it?
Yeah, but it's fine. I can listen and roll as need be.
Alright. So, that morning, as everybody gets a quick breakfast in them and people are brought back up to their feet, Bildren is able to get pretty much all of the injured individuals back onto their feet without much issue, and those that take a little bit of coaxing of their own volition, there's enough extra hands around to assist them with moving around. So, you're obviously not going to be able to sprint down the mountainside, but it's not going to be as slow as every single person having to carry an injured person, which is obviously a boon when trying to move around.
Mm-hmm.
You guys load up on all the supplies that you need on the way back and anything that you can easily carry with you. Anything non-essential that would just be weighing you down at the moment, you opt to leave behind. But eventually everybody is geared up. All the conscripts are moved into rank and file positions, and you guys, along with the remnants of the Cindergate auxiliaries that were here scouting out this fortress, begin guiding the group back towards the city north of you. So, how do we want to handle marching order?
Lana will volunteer to kind of be a bit of a vanguard with her speed and her quiet.
Alright, so you want to scout ahead of the group?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miko would probably keep rear guard with, which is probably where the most wounded recruits would be at anyway.
Well, that makes up my mind. Reese will stay in the middle-ish, keeping an eye out.
Percy be
Offering
eyes in the
support.
sky.
Yeah. Ooh, no.
No.
No, this area is too dangerous for Percy.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily that. If Reese is staring through Percy, he can't see.
Oh, gotcha.
Or
he doesn't-
hear.
He does a Caleb. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I wasn't quite sure.
You still can have Percy scout and report back to you, though,
Okay,
if you
that's
want
fair.
to do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of what
sure.
I meant. I didn't realize you could do the zoom through thing.
Yep.
With that, Nicandros will probably sit at the front of the conscripts to head off anything charging towards them immediately. That way you have tanks on both sides.
Tank sandwich.
Yep. Bildren's going to hang around the middle with you in case any of the conscripts need medical assistance. He has a couple of potions stashed away besides what he needed to get them on their feet, and a few emergency regents in case he needs to whip up something on the fly. The Silver Order captain is going to be hanging around the front of the group to handle spellcasting, but they'll fall back behind Nicandros if anything serious shows up to give them a line to cast spells. And your brother Mika is going to be hanging around the sides to try to help intercept anything that comes at them from the trees itself, and he's just constantly scanning the tree lines a bit.
Well, she's probably better at it than Mika is. So.
Yep. He seems to have a pretty good sense of how things are going. So, as we're doing this first round of navigation, what are you guys doing as you all move out? You have a rough idea of the direction you're heading based on the way you came in, but with this many people, you're not sure if that's going to be the optimal path through here.
Did we get a bit of a map initially or anything like that? I was...
You have a rough idea of the terrain, but you don't have any maps on you of the exact layout. This area was a bit obscured by static, so you couldn't get any detailed readings from Nara.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. As we're about to head out, Wreaths would offer to cast telepathic bond on Mika, Lana, and how many others?
Probably get Nicandros and like the Silverhand
Nicandros,
guys.
and I can get one more person after Nicandros.
Possibly either the Silver Captain Mage or Terran as the... Okay.
Riesel, tap, Terran.
Right.
Yeah. Much as this is an act of good faith, you know.
Let's not get too good faith.
let's not invite Silver
Reese still
Captain
has a
into our
scar
brain.
on his leg from when he was stabbed by a Silver Order Knight. He's like, nah.
It's like, no, let's not actively download malware into my brain.
That's probably fair. That's probably fair. We can advantageous is all.
It's like actively installing a virus into your computer.
Yeah.
It takes Taryn a second to get used to it, but he's like, oh, this will be convenient at the very least. Thank you kindly.
Okay.
My pleasure.
So that actually helps out my idea a little bit, which
Cool.
was in addition to her scouting and stuff, something that Lana could also do is she could kind of like just kind of look ahead and kind of like pathfind for the group a little bit and just see if she can find like easier routes or like ways to more comfortably navigate people, avoid difficult terrain, etc., etc.
Title drop,
Alright.
Pathfinder.
Ah!
Alright,
Dun dun.
so are you trying to sneak ahead, or are you just trying to move quickly ahead?
She's trying to. She's prioritizing speed over silence, but she's not like trying to make like a ruckus.
Alright. So no stealth check then.
Yeah.
And if you're focusing your attention on trying to find routes, give me either a survival or a nature check.
Yeah. That's where her effort's going.
Yep.
37. God damn.
Perfect.
Lana's fucking balling.
Nice.
Alright, that's a good check. So you find some areas, you find a couple routes through using your speed to get ahead of the group. Focusing your attention, you're able to start leading them through the areas with the widest paths, the least undergrowth, and obstacles in their way. Clearings through the forest, wider passes, things of that nature, to prevent them from getting slowing down or being caught out in areas that would be really uncomfortable to be attacked in, like in the middle of dense foliage.
Yeah, exactly.
So things are progressing through pretty quickly. In general, are you guys trying to move the recruits through slowly and quietly, or trying to make decent pace so you don't risk getting caught out later at night? Because you're already not moving at like super speed, so it might be a bit slower than it took to get to the fort.
I would
I think that's up to the others.
I was thinking possibly like, because depending on how early we left out, if we had I don't know if we had any idea how far away the fort was, but like moving at pace might be a better idea before they get too, what other demons there are get too bold.
Yeah. It was about a half a day. It was about a little under a half a day's travel from the fort. I mean, from the tower to the fort, and you were a bit outside of the town you guys were heading to. So, roughly half a day at your pace. With all these people, it's going to slow it down a bit. You're not sure entirely how much. Maybe a couple extra hours. Like
So
1 to 4, depending on speed and how they handle certain complications.
I think, yeah, Mika would probably vote for pace, just because the logistics of
Yeah, Reese will agree with that actually.
like they can defend themselves. They're not completely defenseless, but they're not going to be fast.
Yep. And is this mind link conversation?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Lana's giving all of her advice through the mind link as well, just to keep things expedited.
Not a terrible idea, and if we do run into any large groups of them, just call us. Yeah, just call back to us, and we'll see if we can't find a way to slow down a little bit before we get to any big groups. But no need to go cautious the whole time and risk them stumbling into us anyway. Okay. Um, Reese and Reese and Mika, what are you guys doing for this first phase?
Scouting with Percy for one. Wait a second. I might have had an idea. Is it possible to maybe creatively use sculpt sound to make everybody a bit quieter?
Let's see.
That might just be one creature, though.
Yeah, it looks like a single creature, unfortunately.
How many people are with us?
Probably about 2 dozen.
2 dozen.
Yep.
Heightened Fifth says that I can do up to 6 creatures.
So unless you want to burn all your 5th and 6th level slots, probably not enough.
Oof. Yeah.
And that's only 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an idea.
Yeah. Unfortunately, huge AoE support skills like that are in short demand. Or rather, high demand, low availability.
Yeah. I don't think I got much else, sadly.
Right. Have Percy make me a perception check then.
Percy. Percy, why is your perception shit?
Not too bad. You have Percy make passes from above to see if he notices anything out of place. But as he's checking in with you for the time being, he doesn't see anything that he is able to report back to you.
Okay. I'll make sure that he stays above, like, way above the tree line.
Yep.
So he's not in danger.
Alright, alright. Mika, what would you like to do?
Mika would probably be. So she was hanging with the rear with the more injured, slower ones. I think her main two things she'd be doing would be one, keeping an eye on them and possibly slapping a medicine roll on them if someone is getting anything, is having a real rough time. The other thing she'd probably be doing would be clearing their back trail, like trying to make sure they aren't leaving too much evidence that here we went this way.
Alright. If you're trying to help the injured to keep up pace, I need a medicine check. If you're focusing your efforts on hiding your trail, I need a stealth or a survival check.
Okay. Let's see here. I think she'll be trying the back trail first, and then as people get tired, then she'll start focusing more on the people. So we'll try that survival roll first.
Alright. So, you're making decent pace on hiding the trail, but you realize that at the pace you're able to keep up with just the sheer number of footprints being left behind, you're slowly falling behind the group. So it doesn't seem practical for you to keep up that pace without you being farther and farther behind.
Alright. Hopefully at least helps for a bit. Yeah, after that she'll go focus on the keeping the injured moving and helping where she can with that.
Yep.
Medicine check.
Alright. And so you see a couple people starting to stagger behind, and you give them some quick treatments, force them to drink some water, just things you can do on the road to keep them in shape. And you notice some of the worst are doing a little bit better and keeping up with the group a bit easier.
Alright.
Okay. So, as you guys are pushing onward, so as you're moving on, Lana, you start to notice some of the paths up ahead seem like they have unnatural, recent changes to them. Shattered, broken trees, burn marks, very similar to lightning strikes, claws just out of claw marks deep into the trees and the ground at various points out of sight.
Fighting happened here.
Fighting happened here, and it looks like a decent number of demonic creatures are in this area as you're moving through it. You don't immediately see anything yet, but with that initial nature roll you made, you do have the feeling that there are an increasing number of them up ahead.
Okay. How does the environment look now? Are things a little more open or like navigable, or would that still be something of value for her to be thinking about?
It's still pretty mountainous, but it's starting to shift more towards forest.
Okay.
As you're making your way down.
In that case, Lana's gonna shift priorities. She's gonna stop pathfinding and like stop kind of like scouting and stuff, and she's gonna focus more on keeping her steps down and keeping an eye out for demons.
Alright, give me a stealth check and a perception check.
Okay. Stealth. Perception. Okay.
Alright. So you you let the distance between you and the group close a little bit as you slow down your pace and focus your efforts on looking around, trying to spot any signs of those creatures that you notice the signs for as you're moving in. Do you pass a warning back to the group at all?
Oh, absolutely. I thought that part went without saying. My bad.
Just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
she's just gonna give him a heads up, like, seeing some signs of violence up here. We're gonna be running into demons before too much longer.
Alright, I'll keep my eyes out here. Let me know if anybody sees anything. Alright. Mika and Reese, what would you guys like to do?
So got a warning that there was fighting recently.
Yep.
Who's walking next to Reese, like nearby?
You're surrounded mostly by conscripts and Bildren.
Reese is gonna put a hand on Bildren's shoulder and be like, be my guide for a moment. And gonna do Familiar's face and see through Percy and have him do a wide sweep.
Alright. Make a perception check as you.
Oh boy. 37.
Perfect. Right. So, Bildren is a little confused at first, but when your eyes roll back and you keep walking, he gets the gist and clasps his hand on top of yours to make sure you don't slip off and starts guiding you along. And you focus your efforts on scanning the nearby terrain for any signs of active demonic threats. Mika, what would you like to do?
Mika's actually gonna kind of try and rearrange the conscripts a little bit and try and scooch the more injured ones more towards the middle of the group and bring some of the ones who are more able to help do some defenses out toward the outside of it. However
Alright.
big the column is of people.
Yeah. Right. So you scrunch the group down a bit so it's a bit wider but a bit shorter. And keep the more healthy individuals on the outside and ready to defend themselves if need be.
She's gonna keep her shield out for now.
Right. Are you doing anything else, or are you focusing your efforts on that?
I think kind of keep an eye out around as well, but mostly focusing on keeping the conscripts looking around too.
Right. Let's see. Give me a diplomacy check on that as you're just trying to relay orders to them and get them into position properly.
Oh goody. Yep.
So,
Bedside manner.
let me tell you about a fun system called edge points. So, I have been keeping quiet about it, but you guys have built up a few edge points in your preparations up to this. This is a point system that I am tracking on the background. Edge points allow you to turn any failure into a success. You guys currently have the following edge points. Conscript's Trust, the Silver Order Captain, and your brother, and Bildren. So you have 4 failures you can put a catch in for. As long as they can be applied to the situation you're in, you can use that to turn a success into a failure. So you can call on one of the other 3 to assist you at the moment, or you can use the trust that you built up from all the extra healing that you guys put into the conscripts to focus their attention and let them know that this is a serious threat.
It's kind of like
if you would like to use that point now.
Gotcha. And it's kind of like a karma point thing where it's a one use.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But it serves no point outside of this current situation, so.
Gotcha.
Outside of this session, I should say.
Gotcha.
Would you like to use one of your edge points for that roll? Because you see them trying to get into position, but they seem a little disorganized, as some of them are starting to fall a bit out of rank. Some of them are starting to panic just a little bit. It looks like the previous encounters they had has shaken them. So despite their training, they're starting to fluster a bit.
You guys think it's worth using one on?
Yeah.
Trying to make this?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Bildrin's helping you out right now, Reese, so I'll use the conscript trust point to kind of try and get him to listen to me a bit more.
Alright. So as they're falling in line, you take a moment to focus yourself and change your tactic with how you're discussing with them. Falling back into your mindset from the demonic incursion and how orders were relayed back then. Going into a strictly logical this, then this, then this. No thinking, just do. And after a moment, a couple of them seem to rally a little bit, turning to help those that are falling out of line. You see a couple of the people that you helped and Harnan leading that efforts, and eventually they fall into a box formation with the hardiest and most well-equipped for melee on the outside, and the injured and those with range specializations sitting on the inside, slowly advancing as they keep an eye out for any threats coming upon them. Alright. And that is good timing, because as they finally snap into position, Reese, you see a couple of creatures. It looks like they didn't see Lana, but Lana didn't see them, as they essentially sneak past each other.
Fuck yeah.
And you see a few demons naturally camouflaged and but rather large, approaching from all sides with large, like, hooked claws and bladed tail pieces. You don't see any Vrox or anything like that, but you do see a couple more vicious ones that look like they would tear things up if they got into a group.
Reese is gonna pull out and say, "Enemies approaching from all sides.
Wait, what? Where?
Stay sharp, Lana."
What? I didn't see any. No. Where they at?
All sides.
Oh.
Brace
And
yourselves.
Lana, as you would turn your attention back to the group, that gives you just enough bonus to your perception to see one of them slinking through the undergrowth.
Ah, got it.
Alright, so they brace themselves. Some of them plant shields and ready spears. The other ones get ready to fend things off with sword and bow. And as the fight goes out, give me an overview of how you want to handle your combat. Starting with Reese, because you made the perception check. I will say for your benefit, Reese, all the conscripts and the Silver Order and the Cindergate folks will all count as allies for the purposes of these encounters.
Fun. So as Reese, can Reese see any of them moving towards them?
Yes. Based on your previous perception check, as you snap back, it takes you a second, but you do see them starting to slink towards you through the undergrowth, and other people are slowly starting to pick them out.
Okay. Reese is basically going to kind of basically just shout out that they're here, and he's going to use battle cry, and he's going to try and demoralize the closest one.
All right, give me a performance check because you're you.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I never remember how to navigate this thing. 42.
All right. You see the creature flinch in a moment, and it seems to be thrown off by that and takes a step back.
I'm skippy.
And that snaps the guards around you into attention as they brace for the other one starting to approach from all sides. So you see arrows being loosed into the ranks, and the one that like jerked back and pops up for a second to try to figure out what's going on just gets an arrow through the eye socket and drops dead.
Fucking good. And then I'll put up Inspire Courage as well.
Just imagine the sound. Imagine the chat marker having like 30 people are inspired. Fucking army bards. Terrifying. Alright. Lana, what would you like to do?
Lana is going to. Alright, so she sees the one. Does she see any? Does she see like large groups around, or?
You see them starting to converge. So as they're getting closer to the conscripts, you do see them starting to get into groups.
Okay. While she still has the advantage, she's gonna try to see if she can pick off like one or two before they can get in too many groups, but she's not gonna try to overextend, and if anybody catches her, she's just gonna monk speed back to the group.
Okay. Let's see. If you're just trying to rely on speed and strength to overpower a few before heading back, I will take either an athletics or an acrobatics check from you.
Alright, let's do this shit. Oh, nope, hero point. Ah, better.
Hey, okay. So, following the one that you caught the sight of, you quickly speed up to it, and as it turns its attention to you, you quickly and just obliterate it with a couple of quick series of blows before it has a moment to react, and turn your attention to another one and deal a couple hits. But as it readies its attack, you see a couple more converging on you, and you take the opportunity to disengage and start slipping back towards the group before they can cut you off and get you surrounded away from everybody else.
Yeah.
Alright. Mika, what would you like to do?
Let's see here.
Oh, can I tack one more thing onto there?
Sure.
It's just going to be a courageous assault. Who wants it? Mika or Lana?
Lana
Lana
might
would
be a little
out
far
of
away.
range, yeah.
Okay, I'll give it to Mika then.
What
So
is
convenient. It gives you an extra attack.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, it lets you use your reaction to attack.
Gotcha. I think what Mika was gonna do was light up her hammer
Mm-hmm.
and kind of hopefully look somewhat impressive to the to recruits. But let's see, are there any that I can see nearby that I can?
They're converging on
They
you,
are
so
converging?
if you can essentially hold your turn until they get close and start getting into them before they hit the recruits line.
Yeah, basically make herself big flaming target.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is she gonna do?
All right, if you want to go that route, give me an attack roll.
Alright. Turn on the flames here.
Holla, okay.
I'll take that.
Ooh.
So, as they're starting to converge, Mika, your hammer lights up, and with a single powerful swing, you turn one of their heads into a fine, burnt mist, and quickly as another one tries to dive on you, um, you catch the front end of its face, and as it goes to pull back its tail to swing on you, you just drag it forward and pull it a bit, and then hammer its spine into dust, before tossing it aside and getting ready for the next wave.
That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm. So, you guys continue on your efforts. Lana eventually makes her way back to the group and starts picking off stragglers and assisting the front line. Reese continues with his support and occasional offensive spell or auxiliary effect to wear down the enemy, and Mika does what Mika does. Mika, you'll notice as the fight's going on, your brother is skirting the edge of the enemy line, using his clan dagger as a defensive tool while he tears into them with a hand and a half axe. You know them as dwarven battle axes. So occasionally he'll slip the dagger away for a moment to two-hand it and just decapitate one of the things before shifting back into a more defensible position. The gnome is peppering them with simple fire bombs. It doesn't look like he's as experienced with them as Shino or Move were, but he's still doing decent effort. And all in all, the recruits take a little bit of damage. A couple of them get nicks and cuts and have to fall back into the center of the group as somebody moves up to replace them in the wall. But most of them are killed before they hit the recruit line, and any that are still left are dead before they can cause too much damage. So all in all, considering the number of people you're trying to hold defensively and the number of people you had attacking you, that went pretty well.
Wipes a proud tear from her eye. Baby brother killing demons.
Yeah. Nah, he's one of them two-handed ranger types.
Very nice.
So cool.
Yes. Alright. So, you guys take a moment to gather yourselves and make sure that nothing else is coming for you, and then push onward.
That wasn't so bad.
GG.
Yeah.
If anyone,
Is anybody seriously injured?
No, a couple people have light injuries, but they seem to be fine to press on. Anybody that looks like they are debilitated at the moment, Bildrin passes one of his healing tonics to pass around.
Reese is gonna send Percy back up, and after giving him some head scratches, and be like, "Who's a good boy? You're a good boy."
Alright. So, as you're pressing through here, most of the rocky terrain is starting to dissipate, and you start heading through a more forested region. You're starting to get closer to where you guys originally entered into the area, and the sun is starting to dip in the sky after having reached noon. You're probably a little over halfway through your journey at the moment, maybe 2/3, and you're making a good pace at the moment. How would you like to?
Are we still being waylaid by the demons?
No.
That was the last bit. Occasionally you'll find one or two, but you guys are able to pick it off.
Okay.
You haven't had any major assaults since that one.
All right. Lana probably just goes back to keeping a vanguard approach and just kind of being up and about.
All right.
Back to having
Sneaky
Percy
scout or
Hmm?
are you like sneaking and looking for enemies, or trying to find a path ahead, or?
Look, she's still looking for enemies and keeping quiet. Just because she is not convinced that they've seen the last of them.
All right, I need a new round of stealth and perception from you then.
New round stealth. Fuck.
Aw.
New round perception. Jesus. Okay.
Do you want to use an edge point?
Which edge points do we have again?
You still have the
You have
captain.
Bildrin, Terran, and the captain.
I don't think any of those realistically apply.
So, I will give you this information. Terran is a ranger and was a scout for the Cindergate Auxiliary he was in. He might be able to give you some advice that would assist you in this.
Okay.
In this region.
Yeah. Lana feels herself kind of like turbo flopping a little bit because she's just not used to the terrain, so she's just kind of in bad footing. So she just kind of falls back and looks for advice. I'll totally use an edge point there.
All right. So, seeing how things are going, Terran heads up for you for a bit, and heads up with you for a bit, and assists you with your scouting to help you get a lay of the land for a bit. He seems to have a pretty good grip on the terrain, and from the brief tidbits you pass back and forth, he's been in this region for the last year or two, working in various endeavors for the auxiliaries and Brescia, so fairly knowledgeable about this kind of terrain. Alright. And he pauses for a moment to take a look around and says, Alright, we should be through the worst of it now, but we might want to start heading that way. If you look over there, it looks like if we kept heading that way, we'd be cut off by one of the rivers. We might be able to find a crossing, but it would slow us down a fair bit. If they were waiting for us, they might be able to snipe us while we're in the middle of the crossing. Not exactly a good place to be caught. Alright. So, that's what edge points are for.
Hell yeah.
We keep going. Reese and Mika, what would you guys like to do?
Having the Percy Scout again.
Holla holla. Alright, give me a perception check from Percy.
Oh boy. Small baby.
Bless his heart. Alright, so.
That's a high roll for him. It's a natural 14.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was bad. So, Percy heads up to scout for a bit. Alright, and Mika, what would you like to do?
She's gonna continue on as she had been doing. If any of the recruits look like particularly wiped after that or injured, she'll kind of do some quick treatments on them, or like give them water or a ration or something like that to kind of to munch on in the middle of the group, to give them try and cycle them out in and out for a little bit of rest.
Yeah.
Keep her.
None of them look debilitated, but a couple of them you can see have injuries that would make it so if you guys got attacked again, they might be a bit of a liability. If you want to make a medicine check, you can try to do some patchwork while you guys are on the move.
Quick stuff.
Perfect. Yep. So it's not as good as if you had time to sit down and fully treat them, but you get their wounds covered. You apply some ointment to cut the pain back a bit, to loosen some of the muscles, and keep these guys in as much fighting shape as you can.
Other than that, just keep shield out as much as possible and keep eyes on the back.
Bit as you guys are heading along, Percy eventually comes down with a bit of a worried chitter and passes along to you that in the distance he sees heavy dark clouds rolling in your direction. It's not like the entire skyline as if one would expect from a storm. It seems more localized. You can't currently see it from the ground easily, but from where his vantage point was, he was able to spot them.
Okay. So, can I deduce that it might be smoke? Maybe.
It could be smoke. It could also be localized thunderclouds from some other sort of magical effect. You've seen that kind of thing before with demons like
Vrox.
Vrox.
Reese is going to pass that message along via the telepathic bond to not spook anybody, including the part about possible Vrox.
Is there any way we can swing around that and still not lose too much time getting to the fort?
We might be able to, but we'd have to cut through some pretty nasty terrain and be quick about it. They might not even know we're here at the moment, considering the distance.
Vrox, if it is Vrox, we don't want to mess with them.
Not so much.
Not with this big of a group of people.
Yep.
Let's avoid it.
Yep. Let's avoid it. Keep it quiet.
Alright. So, working with Lana, Taryn finds a bit of a quicker route towards the destination that arcs around your current trajectory, so minimizing lost time as you're trying to move around the storm heading in your direction. It is rougher terrain that involves a couple of sheer climbs and slick drops as you're trying to navigate through a bit of a riverway that he had warned about earlier. It's not enough that it's not terrible and that you would be like wading through like several hundred feet of deep river, but there are some rougher parts. If people are navigating through this, I'm going to need either acrobatic, athletic, or survival checks.
Here comes acrobatic. Fuck off! Jesus Christ!
All
I
right.
should have just assuranced it, but here we are.
Woof.
All right. So, you guys push onward through it. It's a bit slow going. With the injuries, it's hard for them to keep a full pace. But you do manage to push through it and just barely avoid the clouds heading towards you, but a bit more time was lost than you would have originally hoped. And you can see the sun starting to head down in the distance, and the sky is starting to get a bit orange. And you're still probably a few hours out.
Alright. We either keep it quiet and take longer and hope they don't find us in the dark, or we start pushing hard.
One thing to keep in mind is a lot of these folks are human. They won't see as well in the dark as you and me, sis.
I know.
Hmm.
We just have to push them as hard as we can. I don't suppose we've got any way of getting a message to the fort ahead that we're coming.
Yes.
Because if they can send any sort of halfway party, that would be at least clear an area.
I think I might be able to.
If you got it, lad, let's use it.
Let me see. No, I have to be familiar with someone there.
Oh, crap. And they're probably too far out for Percy to drop something to them. I don't even know how they'd even know. Maybe the captain's got an idea.
Yeah, the captain's been through this area a few times before. She might know who's in charge of that town.
I just have. I think if I remember correctly, Matt, being familiar means I would like know what they look like or have met them at least once, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
remember the captain is a mage.
That's yep. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, let's ping the captain and see if they got any ideas on maybe getting some assistance from the fort ahead.
Okay. Reese is gonna send Percy back up and go and talk to the captain and ask them to communicate with the fort. What message am I passing on?
Just our approximate distance out and requesting like a meeting party to help clear the way in, or at least clear the immediate area. That way, if we can do even if we have to do the last leg of it in the dark, maybe they'll be able to come out and help offer some protection on the way in.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, like a meeting party or something like that might be the quickest request.
So Reese will approach the captain and ask first if they can cast sending.
Yes, I've had that prepared in case of an emergency.
Okay. It looks like we might be having to travel at night. We were wondering if you could maybe send word ahead and see if they can send some men forward to help us the rest of the way.
They're probably stretched a bit thin there, but I'll see if they can offer any assistance to us as we're getting closer.
Okay. We'll try and push, but who knows what's out here. Then
So
Reese
much
will,
we can do.
yeah. And then Reese will go back to where he was.
So the mage captain makes a couple of quick gestures and then sends the message off. We'll see if that has any effect.
We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, while Reese has Percy continuing to scout, he's also going to start doing detect magic pings to be extra careful.
Right, give me occult checks and a Percy perception check.
Percy perception first. How many occult checks am I making?
Just one.
Okay. Percy? No!
Aw, baby.
Baby. Can I hero point for Percy?
Yeah. Not a critical failure, and that's what's important.
That's what's important. Baby. Okay, occult check. Watch. I'm gonna get another nat one. It's gonna be really funny. Ugh.
Oh.
Close.
Bite. Alright.
It's because of that 42 I rolled earlier.
Alright. Lana and Mika, what would you guys like to do?
Yeah. God damn it, bullet.
I'm having a think.
While you're thinking, I think Mika's basically just gonna try and do what she's been doing, try to chivvy the group up tighter and get them to move at more speed. That's all she's gonna do is just do her best to keep them going.
Alright, that's a diplomacy check from you, Mika.
Okay. About putting more training into that skill.
Can I use an aid action?
No, after you've already done two things.
That I know.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That's better for her, yeah?
Alright, yeah. So, with a few inspiring words, you rally them together and have them focus on pushing onward. Trying to focus their efforts on the fact that you guys are nearly home now, and it's just a matter of getting there as quickly as we can to make sure all of this is over with.
Listen to the lady with the flaming hammer, please.
Yep. All right, and Lana, what would you like to do?
I didn't update the spell list in the Discord channel, but she prepared light today instead of message. So she's just gonna go ahead and light up like a rock or something, and just kind of she's not gonna go too far ahead anymore. But she's just gonna try to keep an eye out on kind of like the outskirts of the group and just make sure that nothing is coming in on them.
All right.
She's gonna stay like 50 feet out. That's her movement speed.
Give me a perception check then.
Okay. There you go.
Hey, there we go. All right. So, Percy's having a bit harder of a time seeing things in the distance under the cover of night. But Lana, you being closer to the ground, your ears swivel as you pick up the sounds of several things approaching from the sides and the back of the group. Based on the slight rumble you feel as they're getting closer, you have a feeling that these things are much larger and more powerful than the smaller creatures that you were dealing with previously.
Lana relays that with dread in her voice.
Alright. Let's get the recruits back into formation. We got more incoming.
The question is, do we want to stick around and keep fighting these things?
I'm not sure we can move fast enough to outrun them.
Depending on how many there are, you can just leave it to us and just keep moving.
Might leave them defenseless, though.
The captain can hold off at least a few on her own. Well, it's best not to leave them unguarded if we have the option not to. Alright.
How wide is the road that we're on?
The area you're in, it's easy. It's comfortable to walk in 2-file. If you push for a little bit, you might be able to find a space where you could go 4 wide, but
Okay.
you're still like cutting through the edge of the forest as you're getting closer to the civilized sections.
Yeah. I had an idea for like a second, and then I read and decided it was a bad idea.
But you do feel the larger creatures getting closer to you guys now.
I would like to actually use sculpt sound to make a noise further away from us, if possible.
Alright. Use an occult check.
Occult check. I can't wait to fail this. Not performance. Boo. Okay. Huh. 41.
Ooh, those we like. So, as you're getting closer, as the sounds are getting closer, you make an effort to try to draw the attention of these creatures away and make a sound in the distance. And you hear a few of the thudding gets a bit lighter as you hear some of them fade off into the distance. And you feel a slight bit of relief. And then the sound of snapping as something just obliterates whatever tree you happen to hit with that shape sound. And then you guys just see a big hunk of the wood smash the forest nearby you guys.
Well, I think that worked, Reese.
We should probably go.
Yeah.
There are still others approaching, and they seem to be picking up pace at the sounds of violence.
All right, gonna
Did my best, man.
That
time to cut off the big guys before they find the group.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
So is the plan to stop the group, or have you guys try to fight them off while the group pushes onwards?
Lana thinks it's a good idea to have the group push, but she'll yield to democracy.
They can keep the captain and Bildren with them to defend them. Try to send them toward where there's at least they've got a bit more clearings and room for the group to fight. We'll head off the others before they get to the group.
How long?
Huh?
Mate, how long?
Matt? Oh, it's just like,
Guys.
Ah! Matt,
Matt?
we
Huh?
Matt,
Hello?
hello.
Oh, did I cut out really hard?
Yep.
Yeah.
We lost you at how long?
So Taryn talks over the mind link. Is there like a range limit on this thing? The head speak?
Is there? That's a good question. I don't think so. Let me double check. There it is. It does. Any point on the same planet.
Alright. I'll stick with the main group then and let you guys know if we need you to fall back to us.
All right. Thank
That'll
you.
work.
Alright.
Alright. So as these larger creatures are approaching, what would you guys like to do as the conscripts head off?
Lana is going to drop any pretense of silence.
Essentially describe the first round of comment.
Is this a surprise round or
Yes.
when we would typically roll initiative?
When you would typically roll initiative.
Oh, yeah. Lana's gonna make a lot of noise as she just rushes towards the sounds and just kind of
Reese is gonna do
very
the same
loud, very aggressive, very haha.
Yeah.
I'm here. Pay attention to me.
Reese is gonna do the same thing and use battle cry again on one of the closest ones to demoralize them. Only a 31, but
Alright.
Yeah. Do I need to roll anything or?
Let's see, what options do we have for trying to distract them?
For being performative in her aggression to try to get as much attention as she can.
I will. If you have a spell that you're using to boost that, I will let you use religion. Otherwise, I will let you use intimidation, deception, or diplomacy. Any of the charisma skills.
Okay, well, none of the charisma skills are great, so let's take a look at Lana's spell list and see what we can do. She's just gonna yeet a ray of enfeeblement at one of them, just for the sake of attention,
Gotcha.
gathering. So that'll.
I would also let you use any of your key abilities if you just want to be really flashy.
We're gonna hold on to those for now. I think Ray of Enfeeblement is the play.
Like a blast or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just like this kind of like shot of kind of white light that just kind of is meant to get their attention.
Okay. Give me a religion check then.
Okay. 30.
30. All right. And Mika, what are you doing?
Mika's gonna go do the same thing to get attention. Go into a yelling rage. And if she sees one, she'll try the. I think I'm not sure if it's so much an action as a sort of feat that I can do now is the intimidating glare. So
yep. Roll me intimidation then.
Let's see how laughable.
They do not need to share a language with you for you to intimidate them.
Nope. I do need to roll better than probably that, but.
Hey, Alright. So, most of the efforts seem to be going towards Lana and Reese.
Fair.
But once the paddle kicks in, you and Lana form a front line while Reese dances around the back line trying to avoid being punched in half. You run into several larger creatures. a Vrock, a Glabrezu, things similar of that size and nature. And you manage to cut down a few of them, but more seem to be coming when you hear over the voice comm. If you got a chance, you might want to start falling back now. You headed off most of them, but we still got more coming in from the sides, and it seems like they're drawing more to them.
I'll go. Are you two gonna be okay?
Go.
Okay. Lana's gonna throw up her Hood of Elvenkind to turn invisible and jet back towards the group.
Like a fighting retreat for us two.
Yep.
Mhm.
Gonna have Inspire Courage up, and I'm gonna be using Scintillating Safeguard to try and make sure we take as little damage as possible.
Give me an occult check.
Whee!
Yeah, Mika's just keeping her shield up and just swinging it
Fuck.
whenever it gets nearby. Aww.
Goodbye!
So, Reese, you get a couple hits in before you guys manage to break away, so you're pretty injured at the moment.
Cool.
But you are still on your feet. It takes you a little longer to fall back, but eventually you do break out.
At least it just affected me, right?
And Mika, how were you falling back?
Basically shield up and just kind of swinging at whatever gets into range, into range. Just trying to, yeah, especially if Bree starts taking damage, basically yelling to try and keep the attention off of him try and cover him so we can get out.
Alright, give me an athletics check to try to keep up with these things. So, you do manage to fend them off, which gives Reese his window to escape, and start falling back on your own. Lana, you're able to catch up to them relatively quickly. You do see a couple of them descending on the group. They're in a retreating stance at the moment as the mage captain is funneling them off to the sides and away from the group, mainly using various walls type spells, and if anything tries to break through them, hammering them with powerful magics to try and kill them before they can break through.
And you said they were starting to group up?
How would you like to assist them as they're falling back? The more and more creatures are descending upon them, and you can see them starting to fall back, and you see the lights of the village in the distance, but it looks like more and more of the creatures are coming, and they might not make it at their current pace.
Okay. How many of the descending creatures are in what you would call a 60-foot cone?
They're being funneled, so maybe about half of them.
The people or the demons?
The demons. The mage
Okay.
captain has been funneling them into narrow formations so that they can't come from all sides at once.
Well, Lana is gonna do that thing where she puts a hand on her sheath and it starts to get all burning bright, and she just goes, "All right, let's see them home. Divine Dawn!" And she casts a 3-action Key Blast.
Hell yeah. Alright, give me a divine check.
All right. Religion, or can I just use her class DC?
Religion. 1 sec, I'm gonna swap the server.
Oh, okay. Let me know.
You're good to go now.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey.
Alright, so a couple of them turn to ash as you disintegrate them, and the others are heavily injured, but some of them turn their attention to you. You do give them an opportunity to make some more ground as they fall back a bit further with the gap before reforming their lines a bit to form a defensive retreat. And slowly they're making their way towards the city. It looks like they just might make it the way things are going, but it's going to be rough.
Would we have caught up by now?
Hold on.
Okay.
Alright, let's try this one. Central is mean. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yeah, so I can hear you.
Alright. So, you turn a couple of them to ash and give the conscripts time to fall back for a bit farther before reforming their lines into a defensive retreat. It looks like they're gaining ground, and it's almost certain they'll make it back. It's just a matter of if they're going to lose anybody at this point. And as things are looking rough, you start to see a pretty heavily injured Reese and a relatively unharmed Mika in the distance as they break from the group they were engaged with. And as you guys start to see storm clouds forming overhead from a couple of the rocks starting to dance together in unison, you hear a familiar voice. Lana.
Oh, hi.
You recognize the tone as from the skies above you, you hear a man call out, "Hark, ye mighty. I applaud your efforts, and I will not have them be for naught." And as if dropping from the sky like a meteor, you see that armored figure with the banner crash through one of the larger demons and just fucking eviscerate it before turning his attention to some of the others. And you see arrows streaking through the sky behind him as some of the knights that were dispatched from the nearby city start picking off the remnants you guys are dealing with.
It's like from farther away. That's really cool.
Never thought I'd be actually happy to see one of that lot.
Same.
So
That's really awesome when it's not pointed at me.
Lana, please.
I'm having a good time. Come on, we gotta keep morale up.
Reese just like bleeding all over the ground. Like, okay.
So, it takes a little bit of effort and coordination, but eventually, with the assistance of the Herald and his knights, you guys rally the conscripts and safely make your way back to the village. And it was close. There were a couple pretty heavily injured conscripts by the end from that final fight, but you didn't lose a single one.
Look at this guy.
Hooray.
Ooh.
For reference, that was a countdown point system. You guys needed to get to 25 victory points, and you had 10 HP essentially on the party before you started losing them.
Interesting.
You had 2 health left.
Ooh.
Ooh, boy.
Be very happy you guys put as much effort into healing on that first day as you did.
Oh, good. Good to know.
Frickin' punctured lung man is just like, oh, not again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now Reese is punctured lung man.
Aw. Miko's gonna
That is
patch him up.
collapsed lung.
Oh.
She would have slapped a patch on him, you know that.
Reese is
Big
just like,
lung
ow.
inflating band-aid.
Ow, ow.
Oh.
Fuck, ow.
Alright, so you guys are escorted back to the nearby fortified city. And as you're taking a moment to patch all your wounds, the Herald approaches your group and says, it's good to see that the faith my liege placed in you was well placed. Thank you for your assistance here. I do hope that I was not too late to offer aid upon you.
No, I'd say you showed up right in the nick of time. I don't suppose that diving thing is anything you'd be able to teach?
Reese is gonna gently elbow Lana.
No, stop! No, what am I doing?
How do you expect to do that? You don't even have wings.
Well, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. What if I just jump really good?
The herald lets out a bit of a hearty laugh and says, "Anything is possible for those that are faithful to my liege, but considering your current inclinations, I imagine that that price is a bit too steep for you."
Yeah, that's reasonable to say.
Reese quietly to himself was like, my wings are better anyways.
But regardless of said inclinations, you performed honorably. Though there are a few injured, it looks like, based on the reports from the captain, you rescued everybody that you could. For that you have my thanks. Feel free to take what time you need here to rest up, and if you need anything from me before your departure, let it be known.
Just the opportunity to say goodbye for me.
Hey, Matt.
Yep.
I think I'm going to finally use a feat that I haven't.
Yep.
I'm going to use Shameless Request.
Sure, ping that one up for me so I can read what it does.
Yeah.
I mean, the name is intriguing.
And Reese is kind of just going to lean forward a little bit and say, you know, if we needed a little bit more manpower, just a little bit, do you think maybe you could, if we wanted, borrow a transcript? Conscript? Transcript? And I think I need to make a performance check.
In your case, yes.
40.
Ooh. He pauses for a moment, which is odd considering how boastful he's been in the past when you've spoken to him. Or at least when he's spoken to you. That is not my decision to make, but I appreciate you being upfront with your desires and not using any deceitful means to try to overcome the agreements that you set apart, my liege. I'll pass along what happened here today, and if you have a moment to wait until the morning, I will return to you with his reply.
Much appreciated.
I'd rather wait overnight anyway. I want to make sure some of those conscripts aren't too badly injured.
Of course, considering what you've done here for me, you are free to use any of the facilities as you need, and by the time the morning comes, I will have your payment and your answer in turn.
Thank you.
Appreciate the save.
Of course, if you are going to be acting in good faith, it is only fair that we act in good faith in turn. I look forward to working with you all again in the future.
Reese just inclines his head.
Yeah.
The herald gives you a quick bow before departing.
Reese will relax a little bit and look at Mika and then look at Lana and say, "You're welcome."
That was really bold of you.
Yeah. That's.
What can I say? I'm charming.
Alright, charming boy, get over here so I can patch you up, please.
Please be gentle.
He didn't get us in trouble this time with that tongue of yours, so
He probably felt bad because I was bleeding from all over the place.
that might have helped.
Right. So
I'd
the
been
question
thinking
is,
about that for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So the question is, Mika, do you want to have your conversation now or after you hear the results of that inquiry?
She'd probably want to talk with Taryn first. He already was loyal to his captain. She already made the offer, so she mostly just was going to talk with him a bit, as much as she could about Cindergate itself and the family.
Sure thing. Right.
He already said
Would
he
you
could.
like to do that now, or would you like to have dedicated time for that? I am fine for either.
We could probably do it now. It wasn't going to be anything super in depth, I don't think.
Sure, and I don't believe Lana might have had something they wanted to say to Harnan as well, so we shouldn't have too much left.
Yeah,
If
we'll
she
wait
even
until
did.
tomorrow for that. Yeah.
Okay.
See, if it's easier because we are running late, I'm perfectly fine doing it over text too.
Yeah. I meant tomorrow isn't after the results. But yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. So if you want to do it now, we can do that, and then we can have what happens tomorrow, and then we can wrap up the session.
Sounds perfect.
All right.
Right. So after everything calms down, you manage to track down the auxiliaries and your brother, and flag him down for a bit, and says, "Oh, you and your lot put up one hell of a fight."
We've been doing this for a while. You picked up some practice too. You definitely weren't doing that when we first set out from home.
When you've been doing something long enough, you pick up a few tricks.
Indeed. Wanda, so I told you I'd catch you for that conversation, and sounds like we'll be leaving in the morning one way or another. And whether you come with or not is your opt, but you should know. There's not really a home to go back to yet. I have been back. And she's gonna kind of motion to her chopped off braids, because he would know what that meant. Just, I sang the dirge. There's some rebuilding that can be done, but when you're ready to go home, if you don't come with me, then come find me first and we'll go back together.
Yeah. And you see him deflate a bit, trying to process that. Do you know if any of them were able to make it out?
I, in a matter of speaking, I think there's a few, but well, I'm not quite sure what the future's gonna hold for home, but there's at least a few of us still out here.
He nods at that, thinking for a moment. Oh, yeah, I thought I was the one running off to my death.
Brother, if I could tell you some tales, I would, but just try not to run so fast, please. There's not too many of us left.
Just... I'll be careful for the time being. Just give me a little time to think on it, yeah?
That's what I expected. Just don't want you to go into anything too blind. And she'll pass over her ever-present flask of the good stuff.
Oh yeah, he needs that. Thanks for letting me know now, at least.
No.
Not sure if I could deal with that and seeing the city after building up all that hope.
Well, promise when I can I'll tell you all I can, but for right now. There's still some hope.
I appreciate it, sis. And considering all the running around it seems like you're doing, try to keep an eye out for Berta, yeah?
Well, you at least confirmed the word that she's still up and kicking. All I had was a dispatch and a hope, so I don't suppose you've heard anything else about Zem or Tika, have you? Them's the only two I've got no lead on.
I haven't run into him since I headed out, no.
Alright. Well, hopefully one of us in the circle and will find something. But in the meantime, keep yourself safe. Stick with Bildren if you can. Seems like he's got a fairly solid head on him.
Yeah, well, he's stuck around long enough. I figure I might as well get a few tricks off him. Not sure I'll quite make it to 400 like him, but
400, huh?
he was hoping. Yeah, the old bugger. But he's good at keeping people alive.
Alright. Here, you hold on to that. Give me that emotion at the plane. Give me that back in the morning.
Will do.
Clap him on the back and just sort of sit for a while.
Yep. So, you guys sit together for a little while longer. Occasionally pass some idle stories back and forth, just trying to more casually catch up a bit. But eventually, you head off for the evening. And you guys all eventually rest for the night. And true to his word, in the morning when you guys wake up, you're greeted with a breakfast, some packed supplies, and gold, equaling, I believe it was 400 gold each. Double checking that. Yep, 400 gold each. And once you are collecting your things, the herald departs from his duties and heads over to greet you all again. Greetings. I've
Well
returned
met.
from my discussions with Ethos. It seems he was as pleased as I was with the results of your work here and the fact that you are holding true to the agreement that we put in place. Considering that it is entirely in your possible to do so if you grow displeased with this treaty that we are engaged with. He is willing to offer a concession if you're able to offer assistance to us again in the matters going on here.
What's still going on around here? I mean, aside from the obvious, I guess, like looking outside the walls.
Yes. The other group that he had sent word of you to, the expeditionary force, they were wiped out to the man, but they were able to pass along their information to us in ascending before the final one was wiped out. It wasn't the full message, but we at least got the location of the source of the breach. Or at least the primary one that the others are cascading off of.
And this breach is what's causing all these demons to spill out around here?
It's destabilizing the weave in the region, allowing the abyss to more easily pierce its way through. We had previous maps of where the entry points were, but this one is causing numerous others to sprout up all over the place, leading to unpredictable and more numerous breaches.
That sounds like something that ought to get handled anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. We're gathering forces to deal with it now, but considering your expertise and the fact that you have considerable skills, if you're willing to assist us in this matter, Ethos will honor the request that you put forward to him.
I don't think I could let something like that stay standing anyway, so.
Exactly.
I, for one, am absolutely in.
Yeah. We agree.
Very well then. I'll pass the agreement along to Ethos, and we'll make sure to relay it along to Nara once we have a moment and we have decided upon the plan of action.
Do send Ethos our gratitude.
I will be most pleased to.
Thank you.
But it has been a long journey for you. I'll leave you to your rest then.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you.
Good day.
And
Before
he
you,
heads off.
yeah, before
Oh, sorry.
Lana's just gonna wave him down, like, before you go running off too far, I just wanted to let you know that I thought all you silver folk had given everything away, but passion like yours can't be made up. So keep doing what you're doing.
He gives you a deep bow and says, I very much will, and I look forward to seeing the extent of your passion as well, young hero.
Can't wait to show it. And Lana will just kind of punch her own fist, just kind of do that thing.
Alright.
As soon as Silver Order guy is out of there, Reese is going to like peer and make sure he's gone and then be like, Ugh.
At least some of them are.
No, it's
Doing their own thing?
it's what I said. I felt dirty.
Oh. I-
You did good, Reese.
Just
Yeah.
trying to play nice. Well, there you go. Look, you guys get whoever you want, I guess.
Well,
Well, sounds like we got a little more work to do before we get that far. So
yeah.
let's go
Yeah.
close the breach. Let's go close the breach sometime soon, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll let us take them anyways. Who knows?
Maybe, but yeah, we got work to do.
As per usual.
See, he said they were gonna pass word on to Nara. This wasn't like an immediate trek out to the breach.
Yeah, they were still in the planning phase of when and how they're going to be handling the assault. And once they have the high-level details, they'll pass it along so you guys can begin planning on your end as well.
Probably let Nara, unless we're gonna hang out
Did
here.
they give us the the go-ahead to acquire people?
No.
No, okay.
It sounded like the deal was you
After the
guys
mission.
assist in the mission,
Yeah.
and then they will fulfill that end of the bargain. That way you just don't take the people and then be like,
Yeah.
deuces.
Yep.
Okay,
Bitch.
yeah. I was just verifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
give him some time to think it over and decide to come along.
Mhm.
I suppose we should get back to mom.
Can't get back to mom.
I almost
To
said
mom.
mom! That's in character. He's just like,
Yeah.
Nara.
Not
He says 8 moms.
Yeah, let's call her down and get out of here before you got time.
Reese, before we get back to the observatory,
Yeah?
would you mind keeping the fact that we met Conscript Harnan here under your hat from Tomas for now? Because hearing him
who?
talk, the country boy, just
Who?
hear. Oh my God, Tomas, no, Reese,
Ugh.
please. What? He's your. Anyway,
No, Alana, I understand. That's why. Never mind.
oh.
Pats Lana on the shoulder.
I'm not like. Even if we had permission, I'm not gonna pull him away from his sister if he doesn't want to. So
Right.
the last thing we need is Tomas being Tomas about it.
It's okay. I'm not talking to Tomas anyways.
Well, I mean, I think that's maybe cause for worry on its own, but
Has
We'll
Reese
work
seen,
it out.
Has Reese seen Tomas like before they split off on their own mission?
No!
Okay.
Reese has not seen Tomas since
He fucked off to Kale Tacey.
since the revelations upstairs in the observatory.
Okay, yeah.
Like when Reese went to check on Mika, that was the last time he saw Tomas basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
Tomas has been avoiding him.
Let's see what I can do about
All right.
Oh, don't worry, they're working it out right now.
that.
But yeah. Eventually, you guys head your way out of the town, disappear into the forest for a bit, and get picked up by Mom.
yay!
Yay! See, diplomacy is a solution sometimes.
Did you like that, Matt?
Yeah.
That was awesome. It's like, hey.
That was a really good bit.
I was holding on to it because I was like, would Reese help them? And I was like, 2 of the people he has the most fondness for in the entire party. Yeah,
Aw.
he would.
I loved how the roles were treating us tonight. Good lord.
Yeah, that was
don't.
fun.
Some of my rolls were really good, but I also got twice as many natural ones as everybody else.
The timing was pretty spectacular on most of the ones and the high rolls. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah. I do like the point systems. They're fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a cool system.
that was a good way to handle all of that without actually just throwing down and rolling initiative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love Battle Cry now.
Yeah.
Battle Cry is rad.
So what was it, the recruit group had 10 hit points? I didn't quite catch how that...
So essentially, you guys had 10 buffer HP
Mm.
before
Before things got bad.
before people started dying. And that was based off a starting HP
Gotcha.
and how much you guys had healed up.
And how many...
It would have been lower if you had taken longer to get there. It would have been lower if you didn't make checks. Every time you failed a check, it was 1 HP off, and every time you critically failed a check, it was 2 HP off.
Gotcha.
Got it. So it was almost like counting failures up towards mission failure.
Yes. There's a countdown system and a count up system, and you guys were playing with a countdown system. Sephi's group was playing with a count up system.
Gotcha. So had this many successes to succeed versus
Yeah.
versus keep this failure buffer from falling
Up, yeah.
too low.
And your successes and crits sped up the process, so you had to make less checks, essentially.
Got it. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
we didn't even use 2 failure points.
Yep.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
you still had Bildrin and the captain.
Oh yeah, we still had those edge point things.
Yeah.
My failure that nearly took Reese out. Everybody else is too far away.
Yep.
Yeah.
There goes Reese.
Aw.
Reese always comes back from everything beat to shit. Just like,
the
this is my
last-
life.
It's the last hit point that matters.
Yep.
Mhm.
Reese just like limping across the finish line. I did
Life
it!
is a resource. Life is a resource.
Da, da, da.
Da, da, da. Falls over.
I love the Herald. I love the Herald so much.
The Herald is so fucking cool, actually.
He's
He's
actually-
Silver Order All Might, and I'm here for
He's
it.
got some attitude. He's actually got a personality in there.
He beats
Yeah.
people to death with a fucking flag.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
John?
Pretty much. Like, know the standards that are like the giant center pole and like the
Yeah.
cross at the top? Yeah, he has
Yeah.
one of those.
Oh.
Like, I don't know what was on the bingo list for the arc, but Lana being best friends with a fucking Silver Order dude was not on it.
Reese is vaguely disgusted, but he won't say it to Lon's face.
Oh, bingo.
See, this is the bonus of Reese being fond of you, is Reese won't be mean to
Hello, my son.
Yeah.
you. Reese had some really good rolls. Reese also had some terrible rolls.
Mhm.
Like,
You win
really
some, you
bad.
lose some. Ooh. Oh,
Fun
That's
though.
fun. Yeah.
That was good.
bing. And now there are some NPCs you could potentially recruit once you do your next round of missions.
Mmm.
Whee!
You're
Hopeful.
welcome.
Well done.
Yeah.
So now I get to spend the part of the weekend giving you guys your next list of critical missions.
Wee.
We.
I can't believe that's the first time I've gotten to use Shameless Request. It's super good if you're asking for some crazy shit.
Okay, can we kidnap some more of your people?
Just
Can we
one.
unkidnap some of your people?
Yeah, okay, well.
Yeah. And he was like, "Oh yeah, Ethos is super pleased with you." And Reese is like, "Oh, please tell us how much we love. Tell Ethos how much we love him." And afterwards, Reese is like, "God, I want to die."
Did you appreciate him being like, I'm kind of glad you guys didn't just fucking try to steal them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
I was like,
Group 1 back in the tower, sweats.
did anybody record your guys' sessions?
No.
Aw.
Lame. Yeah. Reese would have definitely said no to stealing them. He'd been like, "Are you crazy?"
No. Lana was humoring the thought if like Harnan was gonna be down for it, but the moment he was like, "Nah, I got people to protect," she's like, "Understandable. Have a nice day."
Mika already knew that like she wasn't gonna be able to freaking drag her brother out of there. It's like yeah, we're loyal
I mean,
to
if
the
we
captain.
conscript
It's like,
them,
well, okay, that's one of those. Like, yeah, we've been with our captain since the beginning. Like, okay, that's
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, Lana's not the kind of person to do that though. She's only gonna be people on if their hearts are in it.
yeah, she knows where
Yeah,
her brother is. That's all she
but-
needs.
Reese is chaotic good.
Okay, point.
And
They're
that's
gonna get done
why
with-
that's why alignment diversity is important.
Yeah. It was Tomas that Lana told Reese not to tell, right?
Yeah, Lana doesn't want Tomas to know because if Harnan says no, she's still gonna respect that,
fine.
even with permission, and she knows that that's not gonna fly with Tomas.
I
Reese
don't
is
know,
definitely gonna keep his word there. It's fine. When the time comes, he'll just be like, "Wolf."
Just sick the puppy on him.
Jesus. Sit on
Wolf, those 2 farmhands, get them for me.
Procure them.
Wolf, do you remember Harnan? And Wolf will just immediately be like,
It's like we need Harnan and his sister. We need the Cindergate auxiliaries. Oh, 3 of well. I guess the captain.
"Whoa! Reese was under the impression when he made the request, he's like, we'll get like 2 or 3 people."
Oh, we'll see what happens.
I mean, the Silverhand guys can do their own thing. It sounds
Yeah.
like. It sounds like they're not like officially
Yeah,
like
they're not
Silver
silver.
Knights.
They're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
silver knights officially, but they're loyal to their captain, who is now a silver, or to the silver mage now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's gonna be kind of on theirs.
The auxiliaries don't have the system in place where Brescia can just be like, all right, you're conscripted, because Cindergate folk can tell them to fuck off,
Mhm.
like legally.
So yeah, it'd be up to
Good.
them basically to come join. She's just gonna lean as much as she can on her brother without getting him pissed at her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah. As
Handled
I said,
well by all accounts, I
Yeah,
think.
that was good.
Reese's weakness is Lana. And Lana was sad, and Reese was like, God damn it.
She had, by the day after, she had mostly made peace with it, honestly.
Yeah, but
But
it's,
yeah.
it's Reese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him do good sometimes, because he does a
No,
lot of bad now.
No. I'm not. Yeah.
Reese just casually to Harnan. Yeah, shit luck, dude.
Not bad exactly.
That's kind of
Just
shitty
rude
to
as
Harnan.
fuck.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, he was kind of shitty to Harnan.
Yeah.
Reese is like, I'm charming. Also that. He's charming when he wants to be.
Mercurial. He's mercurial.
He's Mercutio.
I mean, that too.
He wishes it was Mercutio. I'm sorry, Reese, you're not as cool as that guy. Mercutio's an icon.
Mm,
Yeah, he is.
Lil Nas X might be Mercutio, like the modern one.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
giving off like the more modern movie, yeah, same sort of vibe there. I can see
Yeah.
that being I can see that being a Reese.
That's fair. Okay.
Indeed.
It is late for me. I
Yeah.
haven't had a very long day. So I'm a bounce.
Have
Well,
a good night.
Thank you for the session.
Yes.
Yeah, the session was really good, Matt.
It's
Thank you
fun.
very much.
No problem. I'll get the missions listed up for you guys sometime in the next few days, so we can figure out how we're gonna do round 2.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.